How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about SNDL Sundial growers. Many have been saying, Trey, we need an update video. It's pulled back quite a bit, but I'm going to let you know you can still make money off of these fluctuations, or you know what? Let's just get into the video. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you are a shareholder or you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to be going over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support and we want to know resistance. And I'll also go over various strategies that you can use, whether you want to trade off the fluctuations or you want to accumulate shares for the next spike. And then we're going to be going on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information. Many are asking, does SNDL still have short squeeze potential? Well, we're about to find out. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know, are institutions loading up on shares? This will have an impact on the stock, and it does also show a bullish signal. We'll go over that. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details that I want to share with you guys. So let's get to it. So we're going to be doing a technical analysis for SNDL Sundial growers. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at 72 cents, being up 1.63%. On the low, it tested 71 cents, and then on the high, testing 74 cents. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see here we traded at 72.22 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days being at 84.099 million shares. So not a huge significant difference there, but do keep in mind we did have below average volume. So now when we take a look at our chart here, we're also using the 1 year daily. You can see from the RSI down below, it's around 38.76. So at 38.76, this tells us it is in the oversold territory. Taking a look at the indicators on our chart, we are well below the 100-day, the 200-day, and as well as the 21-day EMA. So where we finished at the 72 cent level, you can see this is an area of support for SNDL. So if it does decide to pull back further, then the next level you're going to want to be looking out for will be right here around this 65 cent level. This is an area I'm definitely keeping an eye on, especially with the market direction of where it has been going. We're seeing a lot of small caps that are being sold off, and we saw some volatility at the end of the day. So I want to make sure you guys are prepared. But do keep in mind, when we take a look at the book value for SNDL, I'm pretty sure they're going to want to try to keep this above actually 66 cents. So I just look at this as opportunities, and I just presented that as far as it pulling back to 65, just so you're prepared and you're not surprised. So as far as resistance is concerned, you can see clearly we have some resistance right here at this 75 cent level. So taking that into consideration, if you're going to be playing off of SNDL, you're going to want to be making some moves in the low 70s and going into the mid 70s. Again, this is only for short term. Or you could be accumulating shares when it's at these low prices. So at least when you get that strong pop to the upside, especially when we get back above the 21-day EMA, you could be able to also take some profits there as well. But again, this is going to take some time. This may not happen in weeks. It may not even happen in a month. But of course, with this particular play, it can make those strong pops and you can grab that 20 to 30% gain within 6 months, which is still really good considering if you put your money in an index fund, your average return on the year is around 12 to 15%. And you could do this with SNDL when it does its spike. So we're going to take a look at the short interest information for SNDL. So as we scroll down on the page, short shares availability is at 10 million, updated 3 minutes ago. And as far as for the short ball free rate, it is at 1.86%. As we scroll down further, taking a look at the history of the short volume ratio, we can see here for the 16th close, it's at 55.46. And as far as for the 17th close, which was yesterday, being at 50.49. So SNDL does continue to have short squeeze potential. But one thing to do keep in mind, this is a penny stock and it's going to be coming with a lot of volatility regardless. So if you are inside of this play, I just want to make sure that you are prepared for that and you know what is to come, all right? So you can have realistic expectations. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for SNDL. So we can see here on the inflow, it's at 14,498. And then on the outflow, it's at 16,198. So we ended up having an outflow day. So we can see it's 0 on the large for both. As we take a look at the medium, it's 9,101 on the inflow side. And then on the small, it's at 5,398. When we take a look at the outflow side on the medium, it's 9,941. And then on the small, it's at 6,257. When we take a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you could see zeros down the board for SNDL. But you know what? This is not surprising whatsoever. A lot of the SNDL videos we've been doing as of late, it has been zero. Institutions have not been loading up on large scale orders whatsoever. But one thing, when I went on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership, I will be putting a link down inside the description. Let me know if you guys would like to see that. I did see institutions were loading up as far as on the 16th, and these were significant positions, and I'm talking about well over 500K plus. So with that in mind, as far as the filings are concerned, we do have institutions who have been loading up on shares, and of course they have the patience to wait things out. And this is why, as far as the strategy we talk about on this channel, it does include doing exactly the same thing. So now let's jump into the final thoughts. So for my final thoughts for SNDL Sundial growers, you got to make sure you have your strategy locked down. I told you guys I love accumulating shares when it's in the 70-cent range. So due to the fact it's pulled back quite a bit, this is where I accumulate. And even if it gets into the 60-cent range, you already know I'm going to be loading up on even more shares so I could play that spike that happens with SNDL on a consistent basis. I'm not going to tell you exactly when this is going to occur. This could take weeks. This could also take a month. It can even take longer. But one thing to keep in consideration if you're inside of this play, it requires patience. I'm going to keep repeating that. Now, if you want to trade off the fluctuations, you could clearly do that. You could buy it when it's in the low 70-cent range, and then after just sell when it reaches into the mid 70-cent range. Many people are doing this. Again, it's just an adjustment of the overall game plan like what was happening before. It wasn't too long ago when you guys were loading up and you were buying shares when it was testing the 78-cent range and then making those pops going to 83, 82, 84 and taking profits at those particular levels. You just have to switch things up. The market changes all the time and you got to make sure you adjust your strategy with that. Now, if you're going to be holding on shares for at least 1 year or maybe around 6 months, then of course this is an opportunity for you to accumulate since the price is a lot cheaper. Or maybe you might have a high cost average. Upon doing your homework and as well as further due diligence, you could average down. So again, these red days and what you're seeing when the pullback inside of SNDL is not a bad thing whatsoever. Keep in mind, there's a lot of catalysts to look forward to when it comes to the cannabis sector. And as far as a pullback is concerned, I have no issues with it. But if you're having issues with it, then you need to come up with a game plan that is right for you, that will give you peace of mind. I want to make sure that I really emphasize this because at the end of the day, this is a penny stock that comes with a lot of volatility. And it's part of the reasons why when I talk about your portfolio, you want to make sure you limit your exposure. You don't need to have a portfolio that's going up and down because you're in a ton of risky stocks. When it comes to these penny stock plays like this, you want to adjust that. Maybe it only might take up only 5% of your portfolio, no more than 3% and so forth. Find out what is right for you. So as far as this volatility is concerned, of course, we are not surprised about this whatsoever. And SNDL does continue to have short squeeze potential, especially when we went on Fintel, taking a look at that short interest. Hey, it is still significant. But with all of that said, I hope you guys found this video helpful and we'll be talking real soon.